My camera quality is going to be even worse than normal because I'm not even on a camcorder today. This is the photo booth. I really wanted to sit down and chat this out because I've been thinking about it a lot today. We're already 10 days into January and I haven't actually firmed my reading goals, so this is going to be like an affirmation, locking it in. And I'm going to have to keep it brief because I've only got 20 minutes of break left. So I wanted to talk about my reading goals for 2026. I am not a huge reading goal setter, but I have less restrictions on me than I usually do. I'm not going to uni anymore, don't have school, my work is patchy, so I've got a lot of free time. While I don't benefit from numerical reading goals at all, I just find that miserable. I do like the idea of something like the 26 books to read in 2026. However, I am a flighty, difficult person, so I'm really not selling myself here. If I say I have to read this list of precise books by the end of the year, it won't get done. I won't do it. I won't read them. It will become a millstone around my neck. I will not be interested in reading any of them because I've told myself that I have to. Certainly not 26. That's too many to commit to for me. But I was thinking about how to set a reading goal without it becoming interminable and miserable. And I thought maybe I pick out 12 authors who I've been really interested in reading for ages, but I've never got round to them. And I've specified authors whose work I've never read before, so I'm not counting authors who have written one book that I've read, but I'm interested in reading a different one. I'm talking authors that I have no experience with whatsoever. That's my focus. And I thought maybe 12 to pick out so that there's one allocated per month, focusing on authors whose books I already own, because I really need to work through my physical backlog before I go buying or borrowing new stuff. I'm kind of going classic to contemporary classic, so it's a little bit heavy. I think these are things that I do want to read, but often I need a little bit of a push to actually pick up. With that in mind, let me talk you through my list. I've just written it up in no particular order, but I have already started reading the first on this list, so let's just start with it. Arundhati Roy. I have a copy of The God of Small Things that I have had for years. There's a charity shop copy. It looks a little bit busted. Whoever previously owned this annotated, especially the first few pages, the fuck out of it. There's a lot of writing in here, so once I read it, I'm gonna feel no qualms about getting rid of it. So it's a space winner. I've been meaning to get around to Arundhati Roy for ages. She's just released her big memoir last year. It seemed like the obvious choice. So number 1 for January, Arundhati Roy. The rest, I just have a list. I'm not assigning one to each month because I don't know how I'm going to feel in the moment. I'm placing as few restrictions on myself in the hope that I actually do it. Colson Whitehead, co-worker of mine, really, really highly recommended the Harlem Shuffle, so got kind of guessed about that and then realised I'd never read anything by him before, so he's on the list. We've got Chinua Achebe. Probably will end up being Things Fall Apart, but I know he's got a couple of other books that are pretty well received, so I'm keeping my options open. I don't own any Chinua Achebe yet, so I'm thinking of maybe prioritising the ones I do own and then shuffling them down as they go. Hopefully, if I get through all of these, I will end up with a bit more space on my shelf, so I won't feel as bad borrowing or buying. 4th on the list is Khaled Hosseini. I have a copy of The Kite Runner at home that has been sitting on my shelf all dejected for months, so he's on the list. I've got Evelyn Waugh. I have 2 Evelyn Waughs. I have Vile Bodies and Decline and Fall. Yeah, got those 2. I've had Decline and Fall since I was 16, so 6 years now? Damn! And I bought Vile Bodies earlier in the year and then felt terrible about it because I haven't even read the Evelyn Waugh I already own. How do I know I'm going to like it? Stupid. Who cares? Bell Hooks. Now, weirdly enough, I'm kind of doing Bell Hooks now as well because I'm kind of buddy reading All About Love right now, which is really awesome. So I might hit 2 birds, 1 stone. Fyodor Dostoevsky, as every motherfucker in the country now has, a little copy of White Nights sitting on my shelf, and I ought to read it. Maybe it'll be a good primer and it'll warm me up into the Russian classic scene. Because I read Master and Margarita last year and it was awesome, but I'm a bit daunted by anything longer than that. And it was already pretty long, but Dostoevsky's he writes chunky, meaty books. Something to ease my way in. Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I have a copy of 100 Years of Solitude that I've been meaning to get around to for ages, so that is on the list. James Joyce. I actually I don't know if this is cheating, maybe on the parameters I myself have set. I have a copy of A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man that I read about 30 pages of last year and just couldn't get into at the time. I was a bit busy, so I shelved it for later and then never picked it back up. In the same vein, Olga Tokarczuk? I'm going to have to Google that at some point. Olga Tokarczuk. I have a copy of Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead that I read a little bit of a couple years ago. Thought, I can't do this right now, but I do want to read this, and then I never picked it up again, so that's on my list. Henry David Thoreau. I have a copy of Walden. Of course I do. Look at me. Last on the list is Benjamin Myers. This is an author who I do not own anything of so far, but a couple of friends really, really vouch for Benji Myers, and I really like his premises, and I feel like I ought to get around to it. I've written this list 2 times already, and both times I lost the piece of paper, so there's definitely people who I originally put on the list I forgot to add, and I'm going to be really mad at myself. And again, everything's flexible, I'm not locking myself in, but for now this is my list for the year. The one other goal I want to set this year is that I'm going to read 1 non-fiction title per month. And it's not a huge commitment, because I know if I did make a huge commitment, I wouldn't friggin' do it. I actually, in review of last year, did actually do a lot better on non-fiction than I thought I did last year. I want to get back into it, up those numbers a little bit, feel all clever and learned and well-read and stuff. Those are the 2 goals I'm setting for this year. I was thinking about maybe vouching to read 1 children's classic per month as well, because there are a bunch of those that I never read when I was younger because I was too busy with the Hunger Games. I actually would really like to read so that I have that sort of cultural touchstone under my belt. But I don't want to overburden myself. I also wanted to pledge to read 1 comic per month just to make sure I'm keeping in the habit. But again, I feel like 2 is a good place to start. I don't want to set myself up a friggin' Olympic gauntlet of things to keep track of. Again, with the non-fiction, I will be prioritizing things that I already own, because I actually have quite a lot of non-fiction already. I'm going to put these into a spreadsheet, maybe tidy it up, but I'd like to draw maybe like a tracker chart, and if I get round to it, I'll put it here. Yeah, right there. Doesn't that look good? Can you see me? Does it look good? Do you think it looks good? Do you think I need to? Do you think it needs to be? Do you think I need some work? Just a little quick tiny short one for today, just because I've been thinking about it for ages, and now that I've said it, and now that this footage will be out in the world, I have to do it. I have to fucking Ew, sorry. Oh god, that ew. I guess they can't help it. They can't help who invented them. It's not your fault. He does look transphobic though. I don't know. Anyway, I'll see ya.